We're going to do a quick overview of Mr. Casey's car, and we've been involved with this car for a little over a year or so now. Initially, he brought it to us last year for painless harness and basically a complete electrical rewire. This car has an LS swap in it. You couldn't tell by the lope that it makes. Got a pretty hefty LS motor in it. So the customer did the mechanicals, you know, the engine swap, the transmission, all that, and then brought it to us to kind of get it the rest of the way home. We had to do some brake work to it, all of the electrical. It's a complete painless harness. We did all LED bulbs. He supplied really nice dapper lighting headlights, dapper lighting taillights, which have the sequential stuff built on. It's on BC Racing coilovers all the way around. It's Silvermine Motors big brakes up front. It's the larger Willwood kit. And in the rear, it's the Ford Mustang rear brake kit. I believe that is also Silvermine. And then the engine swap stuff, it's all CX Racing stuff. Let's pop the hood. We'll go back. We'll go over the interior in a sec. So he has CX Racing engine brackets. He had the transmission mount as well, but it fit terribly, and the reason being is the CX Racing mounting kit is for the 240Z, not the 280. The 280 has a different floor pan and transmission tunnel profile, so it's not interchangeable. So the transmission wouldn't go high enough. So we ended up going with the Apex mount, and you had to cut, you know, your support structure out of the sheet metal to get the transmission to sit high enough to get correct driveline angle. And then you add the transmission mount to the body, and then you're good. But this has the CX Racing headers, and you know where he located the engine, the header hit the floor on this side, so customer beat the floor in. On this side, it clears pretty well. We're running these same headers on Mr. Everson's LS swap that we're still currently working on finishing up, and the CX Racing headers were basically drop-in, and it didn't require beating the body. It didn't hit the steering shaft, which is really nice. So we did that with a combination of the Dirty Dingo mounts, and so far that's been the best header fitment we found. So anyways, we built a bunch of heat shielding around our wiring harness, and so we did a complete headlight to tail light. And you know, ran 6AN fuel system all the way up front. And when it left here, he actually had the Holley Sniper kit. So we made it work with the Holley Sniper kit, and then later on he put the Phytech manifold, injectors, rails, all that into the Holley Terminator X. And it runs exponentially better than it did when it was here. He brought it back to us after about a year or so of playing with it. We finished this, I say finished, quote unquote. We ran out of time effectively, and he wanted to go ahead and snag it so he could enjoy car season. So October 2022. And then he brought it back October 2023. It's now January, and we're getting ready to deliver this back to him. We had some minor issues with, like, you know, anytime you do a full electrical front to back, there's always going to be kinks you got to work out. So we did we had to get the hazards working again. Or we didn't have time to work out the hazard circuit. It was one of the few I had left. So we got a nice switch from Amazon, wired up his hazards there. The turn signals were in-op, so we fixed that. Basically did a bunch of stuff under warranty and then fixed a few things for him. He wanted a straight pipe added, or he wanted the ability to have a straight pipe exhaust muffler delete, so we put a V-band in there and left him a straight pipe in the trunk so that he can swap as needed because it's not loud enough for him. So, you know, it sounds really good with the CX Racing full exhaust, and we modified the Y pipe to fit, did single exit out of the back, because again, it was all for a 240Z. This being a 280, it had some fitment issues. One of the custom things we did that he wanted is we added the blinker function to the side markers. Now, historically on the Z cars, the side markers are only for running lights. So we added an additional LED bulb and brought the turn signal function to them as well. So now he's got both turn and runners from the sides. We'll peek under the In the interior, he's got some skillered pieces in here, skillered door panels, the rocker trim, he's got the center console. And we actually put a Silvermine electric power steering kit in. And honestly, guys, if you have been on the fence, maybe considering doing electric power steering, and you need somebody to help you make a decision, honestly, one of the best modifications you could do to a Datsun is electric power steering. I am thoroughly, thoroughly impressed. We've done a few of them now, and I can't say enough good things about electric power steering in a Datsun. Like, it really transforms the car, you know. So me personally, I like it. But, you know, you can see I've got the steering wheel unlocked now, and it takes a decent amount of force. So let's key it on. And now that it's active, look, one finger. That's unheard of in a Datsun, one finger. And if you needed to move this, you can actually turn it by the hub. Like if you had to release the steering wheel and you're working on it, you need to move it around your shop or something while you're pushing it, you can turn the steering wheel with your hub. So electric power steering, it runs to a GPS sensor. As you go faster, it will make it stiffer so it doesn't feel like it's loose and unstable going down the road. We had to put the manual reverse lockout plunger in here for him because he deleted the reverse lockout. So we did that for this visit. And then speed huts all the way in, or speed huts all the way through for his gauges. So he's got legit gauges now. And yeah, so other than the bald R888Rs, this thing's ready for car season coming up. So we're just doing a quick little recap, and we're gonna move on and get this thing back to the shop. Driving it as needed.
Got some balls.
Hell yeah, it does. Dude, this thing had balls when I drove it with the customer.
Yeah.
And it didn't have seat belts. And I was like, okay, 1 or 2 passes is good enough for me because
Yeah, that's why I did those.
I told him my wife would appreciate it if I make it home tonight.